Great. Wow, thank you so much for inviting me to be part of this, specifically to Barbara. She asked me if I wanted to go second, and I thought that was a good idea until you follow your workshop professor. Then it's a little scary. But thank you so much for being here, and I'm happy to share a lot of these pieces with you. The first two ones that I'm going to read are actually kind of a take on being first-generation Filipino-American. The first one is about my first visit to the Philippines when I was 13, and it was when we took my grandmother home. She wanted to be buried with my grandfather, and it's an interesting view of Filipinos, of me. And then the second one was a trip abroad in England, actually, and the negative view of me and how I looked. So that's what these two pieces are. I'm shaking. Okay. So the first one is titled Australia, Ilo Ilo Rising. It's actually about my grandmother, Australia. So, we viewed her through the netting, veiled, for summer's buzzing creatures are eager for skin to rest in. A stillness that was unsettling. What is the soul? I don't know. But it is clear when there is no soul residing. Her jaw laid a bit slacking. Evidence of the last days of ill delusion when she threw her teeth in the trash can and laughed about it. Someone saw her apparition in the bedroom, quiet and still, never saying anything. Ghosts linger in the East. You wouldn't have shown up in California. They carried her in the street, flanked by wild caribou and peanut butter ice cream. There was no black. We wore white linen. Fulfilling final wishes, his bones laid upon her for eternal resting. So that was really interesting time because, especially hearing all the different stories about how prevalent it is to believe in those thin veils between ghosts and people and living, and that was kind of the reference, like she would never, my cousin saw her ghost in the room, and it'd be really interesting, that would have never happened here, because you don't leave space for that sort of like magic, I guess. And I thought that was really cool. This one's called Upon a Bus, Stratford-upon-Avon, England, March 2001. We were travel-weary and clothed in jackets and knit caps. The bus lay heavy where the group of local kids sat, calling us Mongolian bitches behind our backs. And in their tone was something strained and vicious. And for a long minute, I thought I might die in a country with no allies. This one's called The Fragiles. The Fragiles are charming with an edge. The Fragiles are disguised as little hustlers when they are really wolves that must be fed. The Fragiles speak in coercion. The Fragiles speak in death. The Fragiles can be cutting, even when they kid. Sometimes they elope with your youth when you least expect it. When they can find no peace among the living, sometimes we wish the Fragiles dead. So those are part of a manuscript that I'm working on, that I was actually working on in Barbara's class. Hopefully I'll get that done soon. So these are two newer pieces. One is a semi-erasure project on a novel that I was reading. It's called Grab Onto Me Tightly as If I Knew the Way. And I sort of made my own poem out of it. I took the first 31 pages because I was at 31. So that was a clever choice of numbers there. So this is that piece. So, you can be anything. The noise is a beautiful plane crashing heavenward. I dream of a wish in one hand. I don't know, but I've been told there is a world war in the heart of every winter. In the summer, air like a wet wool sweater. They draw the blinds. I seek relief, my first real kiss. Beautiful times. I've never seen eyes so blue and calm they make me feel like I've been talking too loud my whole life. These days, he sleeps till noon, an elaborate dragon creature. She is all red and inflamed, walks over, puts her arms around his legs, a couple love whispers. Then they giggle like 10-year-old idiotic displays of new love. Almost no light. The light coming at you, dissonant with a heavy backbeat. The song, it went into my bones and blood. I vibrate with guitars and drums. Now I see the road, my poems. My cheeks and neck are instantly aflame, staring with blue eyes, which I devour. You see scars like little mouths. Scars with voices telling, please baby, tell me what happened. Let our scars have a conversation. Throw rocks at my heart. I'll fucking get inside of my head and ascend through the clouds into heaven. I'm sitting. I've been here since day one. I balked at the dashboard clock. After I left that fall, you called. I'm on my way there now. Pulling down both eyelids, I nod and look away. I fill champagne glasses with white chocolate mousse, fill my mouth too. I leave the cooler, get punched by the heat. Steam pours out and blinds me, my arms, my palms. I'm made of sweat and steam. I'm salivating, like a dog that can't tell the difference between love and a beating. Quiet, untouched fireflies like Christmas lights in the darkness. I would like to crack the world in two, drowning in the strange dark place, between dreaming and waking and going insane. Deep in a can of honey, all the different voices collide into static. He opens the fridge and takes out a beer, something to kill the pain. This girl is here, sitting on the couch in the basement. It's all just this furious writing. Sit in the backyard, smell fresh-cut grass, laundry from the dryer vents. A man walks back downstairs. Draw me a picture, because it's too late. I tried to break your heart in a nice way, with the pop and hiss like things ending. I've tried in my own way to be free. When I heard this, a great scream bloomed inside of me. Now there is only little fragments, the best parts. Sizzle and hiss, move toward me. The last thing left sprouts in the fingertips of my left hand. Song ends. He flicks his cigarette and it hits the pavement in a burst of sparks. We are the only creatures awake or alive. Her voice is an echo ringing back, last thing you hear before sleep hits. You sidle up and touch and melt. Now he's in the ink. This smells good. Tonight's our last night. It could be a dream or a memory. Lights blaring. Every mouth breathes. Every hand holds. I scan the crowd for someone I know and find no one. So the final piece that I'm going to read today is actually called 1 Year Without Light. I'm making an art book out of it as well, and it's a book about reflection, sort of how you see your experience while you're going through it, and then how you see it when you're looking back on it. And the format of the book is the text will be printed backwards, and then on the other side of the book will be reflective paper, so you'll have to read it. You won't be able to understand it, but when you look at it side by side through the mirror, you can read the text. And so that's the story about this one. It's like the idea of, it's entitled 1 Year Without Light, and it's reflecting on a year. So, okay. A taste on your tongue you'll never be able to articulate. A dog panting at your door. A dog panting at your door, and it feels like dying. A punishing dark. A surrender to the hands. A surrender to the hands not out of joy, but out of poverty. A baring of teeth. A longing. A longing to free yourself with the oppression of goodness. A deep and a sweet hurt. A wounded feeling. A wounded feeling. A wounded feeling. Has it been with you from the start? A light to blind. A light to illuminate crime. A mystery. A mystery holding you at your throat. A love you have forgotten. A love you can't forget. A love you haven't loved yet. A city in the west, a city in the east. A fight in front of borrowed houses. A need for sleep. A long and dreamless sleep. A longing for a sleep that lasts forever. A memory. A memory and a smile from that memory. A memory. A memory and the way the mind is forgetting. the way the mind is forgetting, the way the mind is forgetting.